Salford studio is John Bickley, immigration spokesperson for UKIP. Your reaction to these figures, first of all?
Well, it's a farce, isn't it, really? Here we go again. It's a bit like Groundhog Day. Another set of figures that are nowhere near the targets that two prime ministers have set out since 2010. Record figures, absolutely no control over who comes here. And really, until we get control back of our borders by getting out of the EU, this is going to continue. And I think the British people have had enough. They want to see a government that actually controls our borders. And the only way to do that is to take back our sovereign powers and to run our country as we see fit, not according to the diktat of Brussels.
And yet, these figures are accounted for in terms of EU citizens, only a quarter of them.
It doesn't really matter to me where people come from. I mean, my view about
it clearly does. If you're hang on, if we're going to be specific, and you're talking about Brexit and the EU, then actually the figures for the EU people is important.
Well, of course, that's only one component. As far as I'm concerned, what I'd like to be able to say to everyone around the world is, you should have an aspiration that you might be able to come and live here and maybe work here, but we'll have to control how many people can come here. I don't care what colour people's skin is, I don't care about their ethnicity, their sexuality, gender or creed. I'd like everyone to think they have a chance to come here, not just from the EU, but from anywhere in the world.
All right, well,
we must control the rules.
Let me pick you up on that figure, because there's a specific figure for the number of people coming here looking for work, and that's 130,000.
Which is up on last year.
From 107,000, but
yes.
You're saying is 130,000 will make the difference, when in fact, in terms of the real figure, it still doesn't bring it down to the figures that you clearly want.
Well, remember, we've had two prime ministers tell us that they want to bring immigration down to the tens of thousands, so I assume they've come out with those figures because they believe that's the sort of numbers that are right for our British economy.
What figure would you put?
Well, we want to be the people that, i.e. the government that is, should be the entity that makes that decision and should consult the British people. Since we've been in the EU, the British people have had no say over who comes here from the EU. That has to change. And that was at the core of the Brexit vote, to take back control.
44,000 came from China. I mean, whatever you say, that's not going to change that figure, is it?
Well, of course it is. Let me reiterate, I have no problem with anyone in the world having an aspiration to come and add value to the UK economy. But it has to be a UK government and not some other entity that decides who comes here from wherever. And we've lost control. And the Prime Minister, Mr Cameron, and Theresa May are now looking quite stupid because they keep coming out with this figure about tens of thousands. And of course they miss it by a country mile. If they were employed in a private company, they'd be sacked for missing their targets by such a wide margin.
OK, but if we're looking at control, as you put it, is it those 130,000 who are looking for work and can prove that they're looking for work, those you're happy with, anyone else you would not allow in?
Look, let's just get back to the core point here.
Well, it was a straight question.
Well, the answer to your question is we have to determine who we want to come here, the sort of skills we need for our economy, and then where those people come from is almost an irrelevance. You know, if we have vacancies in our economy because all of our kids are employed, we have very, very low unemployment, which we don't have, and then we want some engineers, where they come from is an irrelevance.
So engineers, what else would you be looking for?
It doesn't matter. It could be any sort of skill that we have a shortage for because we have full employment. We need to increase the skills of our kids and across the generations. We've got something like 1.7 million people unemployed. Let's get most of those people working, feeling they've got some satisfaction because they're contributing towards the economy. And then let's worry about how many people we need from elsewhere in the world to fill various vacancies.
So just so I'm clear, so if you became the government tomorrow, you would stop everybody coming in and work out exactly what their motive was and then say yay or nay on that basis?
Well, no, in our 2015 manifesto we made it clear there'd be a 5-year moratorium on unskilled labour because we need to actually get the current workforce up and running, our unemployed into work, and we need to see wage growth. So we wouldn't actually cut off our nose to spite our faces. We still need skilled labour to come here. But the first port of call is to look at our education system and say, is it fit for purpose in equipping our children with the sort of skills we're going to need in a globalised economy over the next 50 years? And once we've got our kids employed and we've got full employment, bar those people who just are not able to work, then let's worry about who we need to come here from the rest of the world.
John Bickley, thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.